Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin. At night, when the world grows quiet and the sky folds itself into a deep star-lined blanket, something extraordinary begins to happen inside you. The familiar hum of thoughts that occupied your waking hours begins to soften. Like waves retreating from the shore, the day slowly pulls back, and in its absence, new tides rise. These tides are dreams, fragile and mysterious, forming from the hidden rhythms of your brain. Scientists call it sleep, but within that word lies a universe. An ocean of shifting currents where the mind drifts and explores. Every night, without fail, you enter this ocean, even if you do not remember its journeys when you wake. Your brain, even as your body grows heavy and still, does not surrender to silence. Instead, it begins to weave. Imagine threads of light stitched into vast tapestries of thought, feeling, and memory. Neurons, those delicate cells that carry whispers of electricity, are still speaking to one another, forming patterns more fluid than in the daytime. During sleep, these patterns bend and twist, pulling fragments of your life into strange new shapes. A sound you heard, a face you glimpsed, a fear, a hope, all become raw materials for the dream maker. And the dream maker, quietly hidden in folds of the brain, stitches them together with logic that makes sense only to the night. Scientists often divide sleep into stages, like chapters of a long, slow book. First comes the descent, a drifting into drowsiness where the edges of reality begin to blur. You might feel your thoughts slipping from your grasp, dissolving like smoke. Muscles relax and the heartbeat slows, as though the body is laying itself gently upon the earth. Then deeper stages follow, where the brain's activity changes rhythm, slowing into wide rolling waves. These waves, seen in laboratories through the glowing lines of EEG machines, look like the rise and fall of tides. And then, after time, something remarkable occurs. The brain begins to flicker again with activity, as though lightning storms have returned to a quiet sky. This is the stage known as REM sleep, the place where vivid dreaming most often takes hold. In REM, the eyes beneath closed lids dart back and forth, as though watching scenes unfold. It is here that the brain rehearses and imagines, where it brings old memories into conversation with new ones. Some scientists believe dreams are practice, simulations for danger, allowing you to prepare for challenges without real risk. Others believe they are emotional weaving, a way for the heart to process what the day has spilled into it. Still others think they are simple noise, random sparks in the circuitry of the mind. But perhaps the truth is not a single answer. Perhaps dreams are all of these things at once, a chorus with many voices, each carrying meaning in its own way. When you slip into this ocean of dreams, your body does something remarkable. It paralyzes itself. Muscles fall still, as though held by invisible threads, so that you cannot act out what unfolds in your mind. This paralysis is a shield, a quiet guardian against the chaos of imagination. Without it, you might rise and run from dangers that exist only in dreamscapes. Yet even within stillness, the body is not idle. The heart beats with shifting rhythms. The breath dances, sometimes slow, sometimes hurried. The brain hums with bursts of energy that echo the waking state, as if for a time you are living two lives, the one inside your skull and the one your body continues beneath the covers. Think of the brain as a great sea at night. The slow waves of deep sleep are its tides, carrying toxins away, cleaning and refreshing the delicate tissues that keep you alive. Scientists discovered that during deep sleep, fluid flows through the brain more freely, washing away waste like a tide washing the shore. It is as if the night is not only for dreaming, but also for cleansing, for renewal. The neurons rest, reset, and prepare themselves for the bright demands of morning. Without this, the mind would stumble, memories would fray, and even the body would begin to fail. Sleep is not an idle state. It is the quiet labour of survival, hidden beneath the softness of night. Now imagine yourself drifting deeper, deeper into this ocean. With each breath, the body loosens its grip on the waking world. The senses fold inward. The sound of cars outside becomes a distant hum, then vanishes. The weight of blankets feels less like fabric and more like the gentle pressure of water surrounding you, keeping you afloat. Your mind, freed from the strict lines of waking thought, begins to wander. Images rise, sometimes nonsensical, sometimes familiar, and you are carried into them as though they are tides too strong to resist. A hallway from childhood, a mountain you have never seen, a voice speaking words you do not understand. All of it is woven from the same threads, your neurons firing in patterns beyond your control, beyond your choosing, yet still yours. What makes this ocean so mysterious is that you are both the sailor and the sea. The dreams come from you, and yet they often feel foreign. They carry emotions you did not choose, characters you did not invite, landscapes you could not have built in daylight. They show you what frightens you, what comforts you, what lingers deep in the folds of memory. Some nights the dreams are so vivid that you wake startled, the heart racing as though chased. Other nights they slip away before dawn, leaving only the faintest scent, like perfume carried on a forgotten breeze. But whether you recall them or not, the dreaming happens. The mind journeys always through the waters of the night. Sleep researchers often describe the architecture of sleep. It is a term that suggests buildings, structures, foundations, and in a way, sleep is an architecture. The brain-building towers of memory, bridges between experiences, vaults for emotions. Without it, those structures would collapse. When you study late into the night, it is during sleep that facts are woven into lasting memory. When sorrow weighs upon you, it is during sleep that emotions are softened, carried like stones sinking into the depths. The architecture is invisible, built in silence, but it is what allows you to rise the next day with clarity and strength. There is also the mystery of time. Within dreams, moments stretch and bend. A dream may feel as though it lasted hours, yet in waking life only minutes have passed. Scientists still cannot fully explain this distortion, though they suspect it is tied to the way memory and perception intertwine. Time in dreams is not measured by clocks, but by the rhythm of the mind. It is another ocean current, moving differently than the one that pulls the sun across the sky. And so when you ask, where does your mind go at night? One answer is this: it goes to a place where time loses its chains, where moments can expand and dissolve, like ripples across endless water. As you drift in this first passage of the night, your brain prepares you for deeper journeys ahead. Each cycle of sleep, from light to deep to dreaming, repeats itself in quiet loops. 4, 5, sometimes 6 cycles carry you through the hours until dawn. In each, the ocean shifts, waves rising and falling, pulling you further into the mystery. And though much is still unknown, those scientists continue to peer into the sleeping brain with machines and questions, what is certain is this: the mind never truly rests. It sails, it wanders, it dreams. And those journeys, silent and unseen, are as essential to life as the beating of your heart. So tonight, when darkness folds around you and your body grows heavy, remember that you are not simply closing your eyes. You're entering the ocean. You're giving yourself to tides older than memory, older than humankind, older even than the first creature who closed its eyes against the day. Sleep is ancient. Dreaming is ancient. And in their depths, you will find the quiet truth of being alive, that even in stillness, the mind is always moving, always searching, always weaving the infinite fabric of the night. Now let us drift deeper into this ocean, into the places where the night does its most delicate work. You see, sleep is not only about rest, it is about transformation. When you enter the later cycles of the night, something profound begins to unfold. The mind does not merely wander, it stitches. Pieces of your day, fragments of your past, even echoes of forgotten years are threaded together into patterns that quietly shape who you are. Dreams become the loom, and you, though unaware, are both the weaver and the tapestry. This is the silent symphony of memory, and it plays in every brain, every night, as though guided by some ancient conductor. Scientists have long studied the ways memories are handled in sleep. During waking hours, your brain is like a crowded marketplace, filled with sensations, words, and experiences. Every moment adds something new, and yet the space is limited. Without order, without pruning, this marketplace would collapse under its own weight. At night, when the crowds disperse, the brain begins to sift. It keeps what is important, discards what is not, and rearranges the rest into long-term storage. Neurons fire in replay, as though rehearsing the day's experiences. A song you heard plays again, a conversation echoes, a face is recalled. These repetitions strengthen connections, engraving them more deeply. Without this nightly rehearsal, learning would fade like chalk in the rain. Consider the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure nestled deep within the brain. By day, it is the scribe furiously recording the flow of experience, but by night, during certain stages of sleep, it becomes a storyteller, whispering those experiences back to the neocortex. The neocortex, vast and layered, listens patiently, weaving the fragments into the broader fabric of knowledge and memory. Together, these two structures perform a dance. The hippocampus offers details, the neocortex organizes them into meaning, and so your life, piece by piece, becomes written into you not in the light of day, but in the silence of night. But memory is not the only work of sleep. Emotion too is softened and reshaped. When sorrow lingers, it is during sleep that the sharp edges are dulled. When joy fills you, it is during sleep that it settles more firmly into your being. The amygdala, that small almond-shaped guardian of fear and feeling, rests less agitated when the night's cycles are complete. Studies have shown that without sleep, emotions grow raw, frayed and overwhelming. With sleep, the storm calms and the heart finds its balance again. It is as though the ocean of dreams carries your emotions across great distances, delivering them gently to new shores where they can be understood and accepted. Now imagine the brain as a forest at night. Each neuron is a tree, its branches reaching out in countless directions. During the day, the forest is crowded with noise, footsteps, voices, winds of thought. But at night, the forest breathes differently. Old branches are trimmed, new connections sprout, pathways are cleared. This pruning, scientists say, is essential. Without it, the forest would grow tangled, chaotic, impassable. With it, the forest remains alive, vibrant, able to carry signals clearly. This quiet gardening of the mind happens while you dream, while you wander through landscapes of memory and imagination. The forest is yours, and every night it reshapes itself for you. In this deepening ocean, we also find the mysteries of creativity. Many artists, writers, and scientists have awoken from dreams with solutions or visions they did not find in daylight. The German chemist August Kekulé dreamed of a snake biting its own tail, a vision that led him to understand the circular structure of benzene. Paul McCartney once dreamed a melody that became the famous song Yesterday. Countless others have spoken of inspiration delivered in sleep, as if the night were a secret well of ideas. Perhaps this is because the dreaming mind, freed from the strict lines of logic, allows connections to form that waking thought resists. The ocean does not flow in straight channels. It swirls, spirals, eddies, carrying fragments into surprising encounters. And sometimes in those encounters beauty is born. Yet for all its gifts, this ocean is fragile. Disrupted sleep scatters the patterns, interrupts the cycles, and leaves the brain unfinished in its work. Without enough deep sleep, toxins remain. Without enough REM, memory weakens and emotions fray. The body feels heavy, the mind foggy, the spirit unsettled. Modern life, with its glowing screens and restless schedules, often cuts the night short. We forget that to dream well is not indulgence but necessity. The stars above, the cycles of moon and tide all remind us that rest is woven into the fabric of existence. Even the earth itself spins into darkness each day, a rhythm as old as time. To sleep is to join that rhythm, to be carried by it as surely as the oceans are carried by the moon. Let us return now to the question, where does your mind go at night? It goes into rehearsal halls where memory is performed. It goes into gardens where branches are pruned and paths cleared. It goes into laboratories of creativity where ideas are born in silence. And it goes into the hidden chambers of emotion where sorrow is softened and joy made whole. Each night is not just absence, it is presence, a journey into the places where your very being is reshaped. You wake in the morning not only rested, but renewed, a slightly different self than the one who closed their eyes. The ocean has worked upon you, smoothing edges, planting seeds, polishing the stones of memory. There is another mystery too, the way the body and mind speak to one another in the dark. Hormones rise and fall with the hours of night. Melatonin signals the body to drift into slumber. Cortisol ebbs and flows with circadian rhythm. Growth hormone repairs tissues, mends bones, strengthens muscles. It is as though an orchestra plays beneath your skin, every instrument tuned to the cycle of sleep. You are not only dreaming, you are healing. The body knows as deeply as the mind that the night is its sanctuary. Think also of the universality of this ocean. Every creature, from the smallest mouse to the largest whale, surrenders to sleep in some form. Birds dream, their heads twitching under closed lids. Cats and dogs run in their sleep, paws flicking as though chasing unseen prey. Even reptiles and fish display rhythms of rest and dreaming. It is not only human, it is life itself that needs this nightly voyage. Evolution has guarded sleep with fierce devotion, for no species has ever abandoned it. To do so would be to abandon survival itself. That truth should tell us something profound. That sleep is not an accident, not a flaw, but a fundamental rhythm of existence. And so, as the hours pass, the cycles repeat. The brain sails through waves of deep rest and storms of dreaming. The heart adjusts, the breath follows, the body repairs, the mind weaves. You're both voyager and vessel, carried by currents you cannot control, and yet safe within their ancient design. By morning you emerge on the shore, unaware of the vast distances you travelled. The ocean withdraws, leaving only fragments on the sand. A dream remembered, a feeling shifted, a thought clarified. You carry those fragments with you into the day, though you may not know it. They shape you, silently, gently, like tides shaping stone. The question still lingers, whispered by the dark. Where does your mind go at night? It goes everywhere and nowhere. It sails into memory, into creativity, into healing, into wonder. It is carried by the oldest rhythms of life, the deep ocean beneath all consciousness. It is here in these journeys that the fullness of being human is renewed. And though you may not recall the voyages, though the dreams may vanish like mist at dawn, the truth remains. The mind goes to the ocean, and in its waters you are made whole again. The night deepens, and with it the ocean of dreams stretches to its farthest horizons. By now your body lies utterly surrendered, held in stillness by the quiet machinery of sleep. But your mind, though hidden, has travelled far. It has rehearsed memories, softened emotions, and planted seeds of creativity. And yet there is one more journey to take, one that speaks to the deepest questions of being. For in these final cycles of the night, where REM returns again and again like waves cresting upon the shore, the mind touches mysteries that even science cannot fully name. Some researchers describe dreams as random sparks, meaningless flickers in the dark. Others insist they are the heart's truest language, unfiltered by reason. Perhaps the truth lies in both. For what is the mind if not a chorus of contradictions, a blending of reason and feeling, of structure and chaos? To dream is to allow those contradictions to speak together, to sing in harmony and dissonance alike. The scientist may call it neural activity. The poet may call it the soul wandering. Both might be right, and perhaps that is the beauty of the night. It refuses to give only one answer. It invites you to live in mystery, to accept that not all can be explained and that not all should be. As the cycles repeat, the dreaming brain becomes a kind of mirror. It reflects not only what has happened to you, but also what you imagine might come. Fears become scenarios, hopes become stories, and sometimes the impossible becomes real, if only for an hour. You may fly above mountains, speak with voices long lost, step into worlds that dissolve at dawn. And while they vanish in waking, their impressions linger. A dream of loss might leave you tender toward those you love. A dream of joy might lighten your steps through the day. In this way, dreams act not only within the night but echo into the morning, shaping choices and moods subtle as shadows and yet powerful as tides. Scientists have even found that during dreams, the brain's networks of imagination and memory overlap. Areas that light up when you envision the future glow also when you recall the past. It is as if the brain is stitching time itself, bringing yesterday and tomorrow into a single cloth. In dreams, you are not bound by the line of hours. You are free to wander across your life as though it were a landscape, fields of memory blending with skies of possibility. This might be why dreams often feel so strange, because they are collages of time, art, made from moments you did not expect to meet. In this timeless ocean you live all at once, child and adult, present and future, real and imagined. But let us not forget the body, even as the mind wanders. Deep in these final hours of sleep, tissues repair themselves more fully. Muscles knit, bones strengthen, the immune system sharpens its defences. Sleep is the quiet healer, and without it, wounds linger longer. Sickness grows bolder, and energy fades. To dream is to heal, even if you do not know it. The chemistry of night works silently, molecules flowing like gentle rivers through your cells. Growth hormone surges, immune cells patrol, repair begins again and again. The body, like the mind, has its own journeys in the ocean of night. There is also something ancient in these final hours, something that binds you to every creature that has ever closed its eyes. From the smallest insect to the largest mammal, all rest in cycles. Sleep is one of the oldest rhythms of life, older than language, older than culture, older even than the first fires humankind ever lit against the dark. To sleep is to participate in an inheritance written in the very fabric of biology. It is a truth that evolution itself has guarded fiercely. Across millions of years, no species has abandoned the ocean of night. It is too vital, too woven into survival. When you surrender to it, you are joining not only your own story, but the story of life itself. And still, the question hums gently, where does your mind go at night? Perhaps it goes to the place where self and world blur, where you are both the dreamer and the dream. Perhaps it goes to the hidden chambers of healing, where neurons, hormones and memories dance in harmony. Perhaps it goes to the silent libraries of the past, the imagined theatres of the future, the secret wells of creativity. And perhaps it goes to places beyond Nippon naming, places science has not mapped and poetry cannot capture. The truth may be that your mind goes to all of these places at once, layered like world's waves, folding into one another as they move. When dawn approaches, the cycles lighten. Dreams grow shorter, more fragmented. The body stirs, preparing for wakefulness. The ocean of night begins to withdraw, pulling back like tide from the shore. You may wake with fragments in your hand, a face remembered, a phrase repeated, an image that lingers like mist. Or you may wake with nothing, as though the night held its secrets close. Either way, the work has been done, the mind is renewed, the body restored, the spirit softened and prepared. Whether remembered or not, the journeys have shaped you. They are the hidden architecture of who you are. There is a peace in this, a reminder that even in your most vulnerable hours, when you surrender to darkness, something within you is guiding, weaving, protecting. You are never truly lost in sleep. You are carried, always, by rhythms older than you, deeper than you, stronger than any waking fear. You are part of the same currents that move oceans, that bend trees toward moonlight, that guide birds across continents. The night is not absence, but presence. Not emptiness, but fullness. To close your eyes is not to fall into nothing. It is to enter everything, an ocean where the self dissolves and reforms anew. So tonight, when the world grows quiet again and you find yourself heavy with sleep, remember the journey that awaits. Your mind will go where science only partially explains, where metaphors only partially reach. It will sail into oceans vast and strange, where memories are rewritten, emotions healed, and futures glimpsed. It will weave and wander, prune and plant, sing and dissolve. And by morning, though you may not recall a single scene, you will carry the ocean within you. Its waters will shape your thoughts, your feelings, your very being. You are not only the dreamer, you're also the dream, the ocean, the tide, the shore. And in this truth lies a quiet comfort, that every night without fail you are remade by the journeys of the mind. Every night when you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, an invisible orchestra begins to play. You do not hear it with your ears nor see it with your eyes, but it is there, deep within your skull, in the folds of your brain. It is the silent symphony of memory, and it is one of the most essential performances of your life. Without it, your days would dissolve into fragments, your experiences would fade like chalk washed by rain, and your very sense of self would unravel. To sleep is to listen to this symphony, whether you know it or not, and to awaken each morning renewed, carrying with you the melodies of who you are. Think of the brain as a vast library, endless corridors lined with shelves. Each day you gather new books, moments, conversations, sights and feelings, and place them hurriedly into the stacks. But the shelves are crowded, the order imperfect. By nightfall, the library is chaotic, overflowing with unsorted knowledge. And then, when you sleep, the librarians come alive. They walk silently through the halls, arranging, cataloguing, and weaving together the loose threads. Some books are placed neatly where they belong, others are discarded. Still others are copied and spread across many shelves so that they will not be lost. This is what your brain does while you dream. It is not idle. It is organizing the story of your life. The hippocampus, small and curved like a seahorse, is one of the chief conductors in this silent symphony. During the day it works endlessly, capturing the fleeting moments of experience. A face you saw, a word you read, a sound that stirred you. All are stored there, fragile and temporary. But at night, the hippocampus whispers these experiences back to the neocortex, that wide expanse of brain where long-term knowledge is kept. The hippocampus is like a soloist, playing melodies of memory again and again, until the larger orchestra joins in and makes them part of the greater composition. Without this performance, you could not learn, you could not remember, and you could not build a lasting sense of self. Researchers have found that during certain stages of sleep, especially deep slow-wave sleep, the brain replays the day's events in accelerated bursts. Neurons that fired when you walk through a street fire again in the same sequence, only faster, as though the memory is being replayed on a hidden screen. This rehearsal strengthens the connections, turning fragile traces into lasting records. Imagine a craftsman hammering nails into a frame so that it will hold. That is what your sleeping brain does. Each burst of replay is the strike of the hammer, securing the memory more firmly into place. By morning, what was once uncertain has become part of you, And it is not only facts and events that are stored. Emotions too are processed and balanced. The amygdala, which burns brightly when you are afraid or angry, calms itself in the rhythms of sleep. Without rest, emotions linger, sharp and uncontrolled, as though they have no place to go. But in sleep, the orchestra plays them into gentler melodies, softening the edges, making them easier to carry. That is why after a night of sleep, grief can feel lighter, joy can feel steadier, and fear can feel less overwhelming. Sleep is the stage where your heart learns to live with what the day has given it. Now imagine the symphony expanding beyond a single night. Over years, this nightly performance builds the architecture of your identity. Childhood memories, languages learned, skills mastered, all are strengthened in the quiet hours of sleep. Without them, your sense of continuity would shatter. Consider those who suffer from severe insomnia or disorders that disrupt sleep. They struggle not only with fatigue but with memory loss, confusion, and emotional turbulence. Their symphony is interrupted, and without its music, their lives lose coherence. It is in this sense that sleep shapes who we are, not just our energy for the day, but the very thread of our identity. The beauty of this symphony lies also in its universality. Across every culture and every time, humans have surrendered to sleep, often unaware of the work being done within them. Ancient people may have thought of dreams as messages from gods or ancestors, but in truth those dreams were also the visible ripples of the memory symphony beneath. Even now, when science can trace the lines of brain activity with machines, there remains a mystery. For though we can measure the replay of neurons, we cannot fully explain the way the brain chooses what to keep and what to let go. Why do we remember one detail from a day and not another? Why does one melody of memory survive while others vanish? The symphony plays, but its score is hidden from us. And yet, even without knowing, you feel its effects. Think of a time you studied late into the night, then slept, and awoke to find the knowledge more secure than you expected. Think of a skill you practiced, a song on a piano, a sequence of dance steps, a line of poetry, and how after sleep it felt easier, more natural. These are gifts of the symphony. It is not only preserving memory but refining it, strengthening it, making it part of you in ways waking effort alone could not achieve. The night is a partner in every learning, in every growth, in every step toward who you become. Sleep also protects memory by clearing away what is unnecessary. Just as an orchestra balances silence with sound, the brain balances remembering with forgetting. Not every note can be kept. Not every experience is needed. Some are trimmed, pruned, and discarded. Without this pruning, the brain would overflow, crowded with irrelevant details. Imagine trying to recall an important fact while thousands of unneeded fragments shout around it. Forgetting is not a failure. It is a design. The symphony is selective, ensuring that what remains is useful, meaningful, and integrated into the larger song of your life. The silent symphony of memory also speaks to the fragility of being human. For when sleep is disrupted, when the cycles are shortened, the symphony stumbles. Students pulling all-nighters find their learning diminished. Workers deprived of rest find their decisions clouded. Those suffering from chronic sleep deprivation show signs of confusion, forgetfulness, even hallucination. It is as though the orchestra has lost its conductor, playing fragments without harmony. The music falters, and with it, the sense of self falters too. This is why sleep is not a luxury but a necessity. It is the hidden rehearsal that allows you to meet the day whole. There is a quiet poetry in knowing that every night you carry an orchestra inside you. You do not control it. You cannot will it to play louder or softer, faster or slower, and yet it plays faithfully, reshaping your brain with each cycle, writing the story of your life in the most delicate ink. To think of sleep in this way is to see it not as wasted hours, but as essential creation. You are remade not only by what you experience in waking, but by what your brain composes in dreaming. You are in truth the sum of many nights of music. So tonight, when you close your eyes, imagine the halls of the brain alive with soundless symphony. Imagine the hippocampus whispering melodies to the neocortex. Imagine neurons firing in bursts, replaying the day's notes like instruments tuning. Imagine emotions softening, fears dissolving, joys settling into warmth. And remember that without this music, you would lose the thread of yourself. The night is not silence, it is song. The mind is not resting, it is composing. And you, every morning, are the living echo of the symphony it plays. As the night deepens, the symphony of memory grows more intricate. What begins as gentle whispers of recollection becomes a grand performance, weaving together fragments of the past with the rhythms of the present. In these hours, your brain does not simply store memories, it transforms them. Each note of the silent orchestra alters the fabric of your being, ensuring that when dawn comes, you are not the same person who closed your eyes. This is the wonder of sleep. It makes us more complete, even as we lie unaware of the work being done. One of the most fascinating discoveries of modern neuroscience is the way sleep replays experience. During waking, neurons fire in complex sequences, recording the patterns of thought and action. At night, many of these same neurons fire again, mimicking the original sequence but at accelerated speed. It is as if your mind is rehearsing the day in miniature, condensing hours into seconds. In rats, researchers observed neurons firing in sleep in patterns identical to those recorded while running a maze. It was as though the rat, even in slumber, was running the path again. And in humans, similar patterns are seen. The brain is not idle, but engaged in rehearsal, strengthening the roots that learning has carved. But rehearsal is only part of the music. Integration is equally important. Your brain does not keep memories as separate islands floating in isolation. Instead, it builds bridges between them, connecting new knowledge with old. A new language word is linked with those you already know. A face from today is tied to faces from before. A scientific idea is woven into the wider tapestry of your understanding. These bridges allow knowledge to expand, to grow more useful and more meaningful. Without them, memories would remain brittle, isolated facts. With them, they become part of the rich web of your identity. And this weaving is done most powerfully in sleep. The hippocampus plays its part as a storyteller, but the neocortex, the vast outer layer of the brain, is the stage where the symphony resonates most. During sleep, the hippocampus repeatedly sends signals outward, and the neocortex responds by reshaping itself. Old networks adjust, new ones form, and the architecture of memory changes. What was fleeting becomes fixed, what was fragile becomes stable. Each cycle of sleep adds another layer of reinforcement, until the memory is secure. This is why cramming all night before an exam often fails. Without sleep, the hippocampus cannot share its stories, and the neocortex cannot listen. Learning remains half-written, destined to fade. Sleep also helps refine memory by allowing the brain to decide what is worth keeping. Imagine a vast concert hall filled with sound. Not every note can stay, some must fade so the melody can emerge. In the same way, the brain selects. It emphasizes important experiences, emotional moments, and meaningful facts, while letting go of the trivial. This pruning is not loss, it is creation. Forgetting is as essential as remembering, for without it the song of the mind would become noise. The ability to let go is a gift of sleep, keeping the symphony clear and coherent. Emotions too are carried into this performance. Strong feelings attached to memory make certain notes louder, ensuring they are not forgotten. A joyful laugh with a friend, a sorrowful goodbye, a thrilling discovery. These stand out in the music of the night. Yet sleep does more than preserve them. It reshapes them, softening extremes, blending them into harmony. This is why painful memories can lose some of their sting after a night of rest, and why joyful ones can feel warmer, more deeply woven into your being. The amygdala, often wild and bright with emotion in waking hours, calms during sleep as the symphony draws it into balance. Consider also the connection between sleep and creativity. By linking memories in new ways, sleep creates unexpected harmonies. A scientist may awaken with a solution to a problem, an artist with an image, a composer with a melody. The brain, unbound by waking logic, allows distant notes to meet. This is how August Kekulé dreamed of the snake that revealed the structure of benzene, how artists dream images that later become masterpieces, how countless unnamed people awaken with insights that shape their lives. The night does not only remember, it invents. The symphony is improvisation as well as rehearsal, and from its silent performance new songs are born. But what happens when the symphony is disrupted? The answer is written in the struggles of those deprived of sleep. Without it, memory falters. Facts slip away, details are lost, connections fail to form. Students who skip rest find their learning weak, their recall uncertain. Workers who labour without sleep make mistakes, forget instructions, and lose efficiency. Over time, the lack of symphony leads to deeper harm, confusion, mood swings, even hallucinations. It is as though the orchestra has fallen silent, leaving only scattered notes with no melody to guide them. Without the nightly performance, the very thread of identity begins to fray. Yet when the symphony is allowed to play, its effects ripple far beyond memory. It shapes personality, resilience, and growth. It strengthens the bonds of relationships, for the ability to recall shared moments softened by sleep deepens love and connection. It fuels ambition by securing learning that builds toward mastery. It even grounds morality, for memory of consequences and empathy for others depend on emotional balance, which sleep helps to restore. To dream, to rest, to allow the symphony its time, these are not luxuries but the roots of human flourishing. Now imagine standing at the edge of a vast field at night, filled with countless fireflies. Each light flickers on and off, sometimes alone, sometimes in synchrony. This is what the brain looks like in sleep. Millions of neurons firing in bursts, as some replaying old patterns, some linking with new. The field glows with meaning, though you cannot see it. The fireflies do not know the song they are making, and yet together they create something luminous. This is the beauty of the silent symphony. It is made of countless small sparks, and yet together they compose the story of you. The universality of this process also binds you to others. Every person you meet is shaped by their own nightly symphony. Every memory they share with you was secured in their own cycles of sleep. The laughter you recall together, the struggles you overcame, the bonds you cherish, all were written into being by the same hidden music. In this way, sleep is not only personal but communal. It shapes culture, history, and humanity itself. The songs of individuals become the songs of families, communities, nations, and generations. All because each night, the silent symphony continues to play. And so the night moves on, the symphony repeating its movements, building, refining, reshaping. With each cycle, you are carried further into renewal. By morning, the music begins to fade, though its effects remain. You open your eyes, unaware of the orchestra that worked within you, and yet you feel its gift. You recall what matters, you understand more clearly, you carry your memories not as fragile fragments but as steady notes in the song of your life. This is the true wonder of sleep, that it shapes not only your brain, but your very being. Night after night. Where does your mind go at night? It goes to the concert hall within. It listens to melodies of memory, to harmonies of learning, to rhythms of emotion. It participates in the silent symphony that no ear can hear and no eye can see, but that every life depends upon. And when you awaken, you are the echo of its song, the living resonance of the music played in darkness. The night may be silent to the world, but within you it is full of sound. And that sound is the memory of being alive. The final movements of the silent symphony unfold in the deepest hours of night, when dreams mingle with memory and the brain prepares to close its performance. By now, the hippocampus has whispered its story again and again. The neocortex has woven them into fabric, and the amygdala has quieted into softer tones. What remains is resolution, a blending of all that has been rehearsed into a seamless whole. This is where the symphony does its most subtle work, shaping not just individual memories but the meaning that binds them together. And though you lie unaware beneath blankets, your mind is completing a performance that defines who you will be when you wake. Consider how memories are not only preserved but organized into narratives. Life is not experienced as scattered fragments but as story, and story requires order. During the final cycles of sleep, your brain connects events, emotions, and images into arcs that make sense. What was confusing in the moment gains clarity. What was disjointed becomes whole. This is why dreams sometimes feel like stories, however strange, because the brain is practicing the art of coherence, pulling threads together into patterns that can be carried into waking life. The symphony is not only about remembering, but about understanding. Scientists believe this narrative weaving explains why sleep is essential for problem solving. A challenge left unsolved at night often feels easier in the morning. The reason is not magic, but structure. During the night, the brain has arranged the pieces of the puzzle, connected distant ideas, and tested combinations in the theatre of dreams. By dawn, what was tangled has become clear. Sleep has given meaning to fragments, and meaning is the key to insight. The silent symphony, in its final act, does not merely repeat notes, it composes new melodies. Yet memory is not only about knowledge or problem solving, it is also about identity. Who you are is shaped by what you remember and how you remember it. Each night the symphony plays not only the day's notes but echoes of older melodies, ensuring continuity across time. Childhood laughter, lessons learned, moments of love or loss, all are carried forward, reinforced by cycles of sleep. Without this nightly performance, the thread of identity would fray. You would awaken not as the person you were, but as someone diminished, a self without anchor. In this sense, the symphony is the guardian of the soul, preserving the continuity of being. Sleep also allows memory to be balanced against forgetting. This balance is vital, for too much memory can be as harmful as too little. In some disorders, people remember details with painful clarity, unable to let go of trauma or triviality. Their minds are overwhelmed, unable to filter. Sleep protects against this by pruning. It selects what matters, allows what does not to fade, and ensures that life remains manageable. Forgetting is not weakness but mercy, and it is sleep that grants it. In the final hours of the symphony, this pruning continues, keeping the song clear, the melody true. The universality of this process connects us all. Across every culture, every language, every life, people sleep and dream, and in doing so they preserve memory. The stories of humanity itself depend on this nightly act. History, tradition, knowledge, all are transmitted because individuals remember, and they remember because of sleep. A child learning a song, a scholar studying a text, a family sharing stories around fire, all rely on the symphony to carry their experiences forward. Without it, culture would crumble, wisdom would vanish, and progress would halt. The silent orchestra plays not only for individuals but for humanity itself. There is also an emotional truth hidden in these final hours. Memory is more than fact. It is feeling. A song remembered is not only notes but the warmth of the moment you first heard it. A face recalled is not only features but the love or sorrow it carries. Sleep ensures that memory remains human, bound to emotion. Without this, we would recall like machines, storing data without meaning. But sleep anchors memories in feeling, ensuring that the past remains alive, vibrant, and connected to who we are. The symphony does not play cold notes. It plays with warmth, with texture, with heart. And so the night moves toward its close. The final cycles lighten. Dreams grow shorter, less vivid. The orchestra slows, the melodies fade. The hippocampus grows quiet, its stories told, the neocortex settles, its architecture reinforced. The amygdala rests, emotions soothed. The body stirs, preparing to return to waking. You may open your eyes without remembering the music, but its work is done. You rise carrying the results, stronger memory, clearer thought, balanced emotion, and a continuity of self. You are in truth the echo of the symphony's song. The beauty of this process lies also in its humility. It asks nothing of you but surrender. You do not need to will your hippocampus to replay, or your cortex to weave, or your amygdala to soften. It happens without effort, as naturally as breathing. Sleep is the hidden gift of existence, a nightly renewal given freely, so long as you allow yourself to rest. To refuse it is to silence the orchestra, to lose the music that shapes you. But to accept it is to be carried night after night into wholeness. So tonight, when darkness falls and your eyes grow heavy, imagine the symphony beginning once more. Imagine the silent halls of your brain alive with soundless song. Imagine the librarians of memory sorting, the gardeners of thought pruning, the storytellers weaving. Know that even as you drift into unconsciousness, you are being remade. Memory is being preserved, identity reinforced, emotions balanced. The music plays on, whether you hear it or not, and when you wake, you are its living proof, the embodiment of the silent symphony that shapes who you are. Where does your mind go at night? It goes to the concert within, to the orchestra that ensures you remain yourself. It goes to the place where memory and meaning meet, where identity is preserved, where life is made coherent. And though you may never hear the music, you live by it. You are its song, its resonance, its continuation. The silent symphony of memory plays each night, and you, every day, are the echo it leaves behind. When the night deepens and silence spreads across the world, a hidden caravan awakens inside your mind. Neurons, tiny travellers of thought, set out on their nightly journeys, carrying sparks of electricity along invisible paths. They wander through the vast terrain of the brain, crossing valleys of memory, mountains of sensation, and rivers of feeling. By day, they are tireless messengers, rushing to process the sights, sounds, and choices of life. But by night, when the body lies still, they move differently. Their journeys become less about reaction and more about exploration, less about survival in the moment and more about discovery in the depths. This is the story of the travellers of the night, the neurons and dreams that wander together across the hidden landscapes of your mind. Neurons are extraordinary creatures of nature. Each one is shaped like a branching tree with roots reaching into countless connections. There are billions of them within you, each carrying tiny sparks, each part of a vast forest alive with communication. In waking hours, they fire in rapid patterns, keeping you alert, aware, and engaged. They let you speak, see, decide, and remember. But at night, freed from the strict demands of the outside world, these neurons wander. Their pathways shift. Their sparks spread into patterns less predictable, more fluid. What you feel as dreams are in truth the journeys of these travellers, exploring paths they cannot take while you are awake. The wonder of this process is found in the way neurons speak to one another. They do not use words or gestures, but pulses of electricity, crossing tiny gaps called synapses. Each pulse is like a footstep, each connection a bridge. By day, these bridges are crowded highways filled with traffic responding to the world. By night, they become quieter, more open to experimentation. Neurons wander onto new paths, creating connections that would never appear under the rigid logic of waking life. These are the wandering roads of imagination, where a memory of childhood may meet an image of the future, where a sound from the day may merge with a long-forgotten face. This is how dreams are built, by neurons wandering freely, their sparks weaving stories in the darkness. Imagine standing in a desert at night, watching caravans of lights move across the horizon. That is what the brain looks like when recorded in sleep. Bursts of electrical activity moving across networks, small clusters of sparks igniting in sequence, fading then rising again elsewhere. To an observer it seems like chaos, but to the brain it is meaning. Each caravan is a pattern of thought, a rehearsal of memory, a test of possibility. Scientists with EEG machines trace these lights as waves, slow, rolling rhythms during deep sleep, then rapid flickers during REM. These waves are the footsteps of the travellers, their maps across the landscape of mind. And what destinations do these travellers seek? Some move into memory, replaying the day's experiences so they can be stored more deeply. Others wander into creativity, linking distant thoughts into surprising new combinations. Still others journey into emotion, soothing the amygdala's fears, weaving sorrow into gentler shapes. The destinations are many, and no single traveller knows them all. Together, however, they form the great migration of the night, carrying you across inner landscapes you will never fully see but will always feel. This wandering of neurons is what gives dreams their strange character. In waking life, neurons are disciplined, confined to patterns shaped by logic and reality. But at night, the discipline loosens. Connections form between distant ideas, and the stories that result are dreamscapes. You may find yourself flying over seas, speaking to long-lost loved ones, or solving impossible puzzles. To you, the dream feels surreal. To your neurons, it is simply exploration, travellers testing new paths. This wandering is not meaningless, it is vital. By travelling along these new routes, neurons discover connections that can later inspire insight, creativity, or understanding in waking life. Scientists have long debated the purpose of these nightly journeys. Some argue that they are rehearsals for survival, allowing you to practice responses to threats without risk. Others suggest they are emotional therapy, a way for the brain to process feelings that would overwhelm in daylight. Still others believe they are simply noise, the random firing of neurons left to wander freely. But perhaps the truth is more like the night itself, layered, mysterious, not bound to a single explanation. The neurons travel for many reasons, some clear, some hidden, and in their travels they shape the mind in ways that no waking effort could. The body too protects these journeys. During REM sleep, when neurons wander most freely and dreams are vivid, your muscles are paralyzed. This is a safeguard preventing you from acting out what your mind imagines. Without it, you might leap, run, or fight in response to dreamscapes. The stillness of the body is the silent road on which the neurons can travel safely. It is as though your body becomes the desert, your neurons the caravans of light moving across it, undisturbed by movement, free to wander until the dawn. What makes these travellers so extraordinary is their persistence. From the moment you are born until the day you die, neurons fire without rest. They carry you through learning, through love, through fear, through wonder. And at night they carry you through dreams, reminding you that the mind is never still. Even when you believe you are at rest, the travellers of the night are walking paths within you, shaping who you will be tomorrow. Their journeys are invisible, but their results are everywhere. In the memories you keep, the ideas you form, the feelings you heal. Think of them tonight, when you lie down and close your eyes. Imagine billions of travellers setting out across the dark landscape of your brain. Imagine their sparks like stars moving along hidden roads, weaving together the tapestry of your life. You will not see them, you will not hear them, but you will awake and change because of them, for they are the wanderers of the night, and their journeys are the source of your dreams, your memories, and your deepest self. Deeper into the night, the wandering of neurons becomes more mysterious, their pathways bending like rivers through hidden valleys. By this time, the brain is fully surrendered to its cycles, and the travellers of thought are engaged in their most delicate work. They are not merely revisiting memories or stirring fragments of imagination. They are weaving maps of connection that will guide you through the waking world. Every spark of electricity is a step on these unseen roads, every pulse a footfall upon the landscape of your mind. The night becomes a terrain of discovery, and your neurons, like tireless pilgrims, press onward through its infinite expanse. The journeys they take are not random. Patterns guide them, waves of slow oscillations rising and falling like tides. During deep slow-wave sleep, neurons fire in sweeping synchrony, a chorus of signals spreading across the cortex. These waves wash through the brain like rolling seas, carrying with them the day's debris and rinsing it away. The glymphatic system, a cleansing flow of cerebrospinal fluid, surges more freely in this stage, sweeping toxins and waste products from between neurons. The travellers moving within this tide are not only remembering but renewing, their roads cleared and polished so they can carry tomorrow's journeys more clearly. And then, as cycles shift, the rhythm changes. In REM sleep, the caravans of light scatter into intricate dances. Instead of slow sweeping waves, neurons fire rapidly and in clusters, as though stars are flickering in constellations that shift and reform with each passing second. This is the stage where dreams bloom most vividly, when neurons wander furthest from the rigid paths of waking logic. Here, the travellers test strange connections, bridging memories with imagination, fear with fantasy, sorrow with wonder. The results may seem bizarre to the dreamer, but to the brain, they are experiments, tests of what is possible, rehearsals of what might be, explorations of what cannot happen in the waking world. In this way, the night becomes a theatre. Neurons are both actors and stagehands, playing roles, creating scenes, dissolving out of them, and building new ones. The hippocampus provides the script, offering details of the day, while the cortex reshapes them into elaborate plots. The amygdala supplies emotional intensity, while the prefrontal cortex, quieter in sleep, allows the story to break free of rational constraints. What you experience as a dream is the play performed by these travellers, a performance that carries meaning whether or not you recall it in the morning. Even forgotten dreams leave their mark, reshaping the stage of the brain long after their images have faded. Some scientists describe this wandering as a rehearsal of survival. Dreams of falling, of being chased, of facing danger. These are seen as simulations, safe environments for practicing responses to threats. In these journeys, neurons replay ancient instincts, preparing the body and mind for challenges that may arise. Others argue that dreams are emotional therapy, where neurons wander through memories charged with feelings, smoothing their edges, rebalancing their weight. Still others suggest dreams are creativity's workshop, where neurons connect distant ideas, forming new combinations that inspire insight. Perhaps all of these are true, for the travellers of the night are many, and their purposes as varied as the landscapes they cross. The universality of these journeys is astonishing. From tiny rodents in laboratories to great whales diving in the ocean, all creatures with brains show signs of wandering neurons in sleep. Birds replay songs in their slumber, their neurons firing in patterns that mirror their daylight singing. Rats replay mazes, as if running paths in darkness. Humans revisit conversations, rehearse skills, and weave new stories in their dreams. It is as if the very design of life demands this nightly wandering, as if neurons were born not only to respond to the world but to explore it in silence. Evolution has preserved this because it works. It keeps memory sharp, emotion balanced, creativity alive, and survival strong. Imagine now that your neurons are not just travellers but cartographers. Each night they redraw the maps of your mind. Old roads are reinforced, new ones are sketched, unused ones are allowed to fade. The map is never finished, always changing, always shaped by the journeys of the day and the wandering of the night. When you awaken, you carry this map without realising it. You find yourself recalling a fact, feeling a softened sorrow, solving a problem with ease, or creating something new. These are the gifts of the cartographers, the results of their unseen labour. Every decision you make, every word you can speak, every dream you chase in waking life is shaped by the wandering maps drawn while you slept. But the travellers are not always gentle. Sometimes their journeys are troubled, and this gives rise to restless nights. When neurons replay painful memories too vividly, the result may be nightmares. These are the shadow journeys of the night, where fear takes hold of the theatre and shapes it into scenes of terror. Scientists believe nightmares may serve a purpose, helping to desensitize the mind to fear, rehearsing survival in the face of threat. Yet for some the nightmares linger, their intensity overwhelming, their journeys exhausting. Still, even in these troubled nights, neurons are at work, attempting to make sense of the overwhelming, to carry the traveller safely through the storm. There is a poetry in knowing that the neuron's wanderings are both universal and unique. Every brain sleeps, every brain dreams, but no two dreams are the same. Your neurons travel paths shaped by your life, your memories, your emotions, your imagination. They wander through landscapes no other person will ever know, and yet at the same time they follow rhythms shared by every creature that rests under the stars. The individuality and the universality coexist, making sleep one of the most personal and most common experiences of life. Each dream is yours alone, yet every dream is part of the ancient rhythm of being alive. And so the night continues, cycles repeating, travellers moving, journeys unfolding. Hours pass like waves, each one carrying neurons along their paths. You lie still, unaware of the distance travelled, the maps drawn, the theatres performed. By morning, you emerge changed, though you cannot name why. The neurons have done their work. Their wandering has left its marks. You carry them with you into the day, in your memories, your emotions, your insights, your creativity. They are the travellers of the night, and their journeys shape the traveller you become in waking life. To ask where your mind goes at night is to ask where your neurons wander. The answer is everywhere, into memory, into imagination, into fear, into joy, into possibility. They travel endlessly, tirelessly, faithfully. Each spark a step, each connection a road. They wander not only for survival but for meaning, not only for knowledge but for wonder. And when you rise at dawn, you are the sum of their journeys, the living proof of their travels through the darkness. The night is their road, the brain their world, and you their story. The final chapters of the night unfold like the closing movements of a long and patient journey. By now the neurons have wandered through deep valleys of slow wave sleep and danced in the bright constellations of REM. They have rehearsed your memories, softened your emotions, tested your fears, and stitched fragments of imagination into wild dreamscapes. And as the night draws closer to dawn, the travellers prepare to return. Their wandering has not been aimless. It has been purposeful, shaping the terrain of your mind so that you may rise renewed when morning light spills across your eyes. In these last cycles, the journeys take on a quality of resolution. Memories that were rehearsed in earlier hours are now placed more securely into long-term storage. The hippocampus, having carried the day's experiences, releases them more firmly into the neocortex, allowing them to become part of the vast library of knowledge. It is as though the travellers are carrying their treasures home, unloading them onto shelves, ensuring nothing precious is lost. Some memories are strengthened, others allowed to fade. This balance of keeping and letting go is what keeps the mind clear and functional. Too much holding would overwhelm you. Too much forgetting would empty you. The night's journeys are the negotiations of balance, the wisdom of knowing what must remain. Dreams in these hours often shift in tone. Where earlier dreams may have been vivid, chaotic, or intense, the later ones often become more fragmented, more fleeting. The travellers are nearing the end of their wandering, and the stories they weave grow lighter, more fragile, like mist dissolving in sunlight. Yet even these fragile scenes have purpose. They are the last rehearsals, the final adjustments before the orchestra of neurons quiets for the approach of waking. They may be easily forgotten, slipping away before you can catch them, but their influence lingers. They polish the map, tune the song, adjust the balance. Even in their lightness, they matter. Scientists who study sleep have noticed that memory, creativity, and emotion are all touched differently, depending on which stage dominates the night. Deep, slow-wave sleep is strongest in the early hours, focusing on memory consolidation and body renewal. REM grows longer toward morning, emphasizing creativity, emotional balance, and dreaming. This gradual shift means that the traveller's purposes change as the night unfolds. In the beginning, they are builders, hammering structures into place. In the end, they are artists, painting scenes across the canvas of your mind. And by dawn, they have become guides, leading you gently back into the waking world. There is something deeply poetic about this nightly migration. Billions of neurons, each no larger than a grain of sand, together form a world vast as any ocean. They move not randomly but in coordinated waves and patterns, like birds in flight or fish in schools. They wander together, and in their togetherness lies their power. No single neuron can hold a memory, dream a dream, or solve a problem. But together, through countless connections, they create the vastness of thought and the mystery of mind. Their nightly journeys are a testament to the beauty of cooperation, of countless tiny sparks shaping the immensity of human experience. And yet, for all its beauty, this wandering is fragile. When sleep is cut short, when cycles are disrupted, the travellers cannot complete their journeys. Memories remain unstable, emotions raw, creativity stifled. A single night of poor sleep may leave you forgetful, irritable, or uninspired. Weeks of disruption may cause deeper harm, confusion, or despair. The caravans of light cannot travel their full roads, and so the maps remain incomplete. The night requires surrender, patience, and respect. To deny it is to deny the travellers their work and to suffer the consequences in the waking day. Still, when sleep is allowed to run its course, the travellers deliver their gifts faithfully. They grant you continuity of memory, clarity of thought, balance of emotion, and sparks of creativity. They give you resilience in the face of challenge, softness in the face of sorrow, and wonder in the face of mystery. Their journeys are invisible, but their effects are written in every moment of waking life. To walk through your day with memory, learning, love, and insight is to walk with the blessings of the travellers of the night. It is humbling to realize how much of who you are is built in darkness. The person who greets the morning is not simply the one who lay down the night before. You are altered, reshaped by the journeys of neurons, by the wandering of sparks across the landscapes of your brain. Your identity is not fixed but ever renewed, written and rewritten by each night's travels. This is why dreams feel so strange, so powerful, because they are glimpses of the work being done, glimpses of the travellers in motion, carrying pieces of you into new arrangements. The dream is not the whole journey, but the part you are allowed to see. As dawn approaches, the cycles of sleep grow lighter. The paralysis of REM fades, the body stirs. The travellers slow their wandering, their pathways calming. The orchestra begins to quiet, the lights of the caravans dim. Slowly, you rise toward consciousness, unaware of the countless journeys that have taken place. You may wake with a memory of a dream, or with only the faint impression of having travelled. But whether you remember or not, the work has been done. The travellers have returned from their wandering, leaving you with their gifts. And so the night ends, and the question remains, where did your mind go? It went with the travellers of the night, a crossroads of memory, valleys of imagination, rivers of emotion, and mountains of creativity. It went everywhere neurons could wander, everywhere sparks could connect, everywhere the brain could dream. It went on journeys you cannot recall, but whose effects you live every day. The night is their realm, the brain their landscape, you their purpose, and in their tireless wandering you are renewed. Tonight, when you close your eyes, remember the travellers waiting to begin. They will set out once more, guided by rhythms older than time, moving across maps drawn by evolution, carrying sparks that hold your past and shape your future. They will wander without pause, weaving dreams, rehearsing memories, softening sorrows, inspiring insights. They are the wanderers of your night, and without them you would not be yourself. To sleep is to let them journey, to trust that they will return with treasures unseen but deeply felt. You are the vessel, they are the travellers, and together you cross the dark oceans of the mind. When darkness falls and the world settles into quiet, something remarkable begins within you. It is not only your mind that drifts into the ocean of sleep, it is also your body, guided by an invisible orchestra of chemistry. Hormones, those messengers of the body, rise and fall in gentle rhythms, responding to the absence of light and the silence of night. They are like dancers on a hidden stage, each moving in time with the others, each shaping your rest, your renewal, your very survival. Though you cannot feel them directly, their performance determines how deeply you sleep, how well you heal, and how ready you are to greet the dawn. This is the moonlit chemistry within, the quiet dance of hormones that comes alive in darkness. The dance begins with melatonin, the so-called hormone of night. Produced by the pineal gland, a tiny structure deep within your brain, melatonin is sensitive to light. When the sun sets and darkness grows, melatonin rises like a soft tide, telling your body that it is time to rest. It does not force sleep, but opens the door to it, lowering alertness, slowing rhythms, quieting the chatter of the day. In the glow of artificial lights, this dance can be disrupted, the melatonin suppressed, the rhythm delayed. But in natural darkness, the hormone rises faithfully, a signal as old as life itself, guiding you gently into slumber. As you drift into sleep, other dancers join the stage. Cortisol, the stress hormone that peaks in morning to help you wake, declines during the night, allowing your body to rest undisturbed. Growth hormone, essential for repair and renewal, begins to surge. Secreted in pulses during deep, slow-wave sleep, it repairs tissues, strengthens bones, and fuels the growth of muscle. Children need it for development. Adults need it for recovery. Without it, wounds heal slower, strength diminishes, vitality fades. And yet you never need to command it. It arrives with the night, a silent dancer weaving health into your body, Insulin sensitivity also shifts during these hours, adjusting the way your body handles energy. At night, when you are not eating, the body turns inward, burning stores, repairing cells, preparing for the next day's demands. Leptin and ghrelin, hormones that govern hunger, also sway in this nocturnal dance. Leptin rises, signaling satiety, while ghrelin falls, reducing appetite. In this way, the night protects you from hunger, allowing the body to rest without demand. But when sleep is cut short, this balance is disturbed. Ghrelin rises, leptin falls, and hunger sharpens. The result is cravings, overeating, and imbalance. Even the simplest act of appetite is shaped by the chemistry of night. Consider too the role of reproductive hormones. In women, sleep supports the delicate rhythms of estrogen and progesterone, which guide cycles of fertility and balanced mood. In men, testosterone surges in the night, supporting vitality, strength, and drive. These hormones, like all others, are woven into the circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock. This clock, tuned by light and dark, coordinates the dance, ensuring that each hormone rises and falls at the right time. Disrupt the clock and the dance stumbles. Keep it steady and the performance flows with harmony. The circadian rhythm itself is a marvel. It is orchestrated by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of neurons in the hypothalamus that responds directly to light. This master clock tells the pineal gland when to release melatonin, tells the adrenal glands when to release cortisol, tells the body when to wake, when to sleep, when to eat, when to heal. It is as if an ancient conductor waves its baton, and the dancers follow, each step in time with the day and the night. Without this rhythm, life would lose its pattern. With it, we live in harmony with the turning of the earth. This dance of hormones is not spontaneous in its effects. You feel it when you fall asleep easily under darkness, when you wake refreshed at dawn, when wounds heal, when strength grows, when emotions balance. You feel it when hunger is steady, when energy is sustained, when mood is calm, and you feel its disruption when sleep is short, when nights are restless, when light floods too late into your eyes. Jet lag, insomnia, shift work, all are disruptions of the moonlit chemistry. The dancers stumble, their steps misaligned, and the body suffers. Fatigue, confusion, mood swings, and illness are often the result. To live against the rhythm of hormones is to live against the rhythm of yourself. But when the dance is honoured, it becomes a source of strength. Sleep becomes deep, dreams vivid, healing complete. The immune system too joins the performance. During sleep, immune cells circulate more freely. Inflammation calms, defenses strengthen. Hormones like cortisol regulate this balance, ensuring the body does not burn itself with overreaction. Without this regulation, illness grows more likely, healing slows. The moonlit chemistry protects you as surely as dreams do, building resilience in silence. Imagine now the night within you as a grand ballroom. The pineal gland releases melatonin. The lights dim, the music softens. Growth hormone steps forward, stitching tissues together with invisible hands. Cortisol bows out, giving space to calm. Leptin and ghrelin sway, balancing hunger and satiety. Testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone rise in their turns, guiding strength, fertility, and balance. The immune system joins, its cells gliding across the floor, repairing, defending, restoring. All of this happens without your knowledge, without your effort, without your control. You lie in stillness, yet within you 1,000 dancers move. The poetry of this chemistry lies in its humility. Hormones are small molecules, fragile messengers, and yet their influence is vast. They shape your sleep, your healing, your appetite, your mood, your energy, your survival. They are the language of the body, spoken in silence, heard in balance. To sleep is to let them speak, to allow their conversation to flow uninterrupted. Deny them, and you deny yourself. Honor them, and you honor life itself. So tonight, when darkness folds around you, remember the dance beginning within. Though you cannot see it, though you cannot hear it, the moonlit chemistry is there, moving in time with the earth, the stars, and the night. 'Tis ancient, as old as the first creatures who slept beneath the moon, and in its dance lies your health, your vitality, your renewal. Hormones dance in darkness, and in their rhythm you are made whole. Deeper into the night, the dance of hormones becomes even more intricate. What began with the soft rise of melatonin now expands into a symphony of chemical rhythms, each one stepping forward in time, each shaping your body and mind in ways you cannot see but always feel. The darkness does not simply quiet the world outside, it awakens the secret performers within. They move like currents beneath still waters, invisible yet powerful, guiding you toward restoration and balance. To follow them is to understand how deeply your life is tied to the chemistry of night. As sleep grows deeper, growth hormone pulses through your bloodstream with renewed strength. Its role is both ancient and vital. In children, it fuels the expansion of bones, the elongation of limbs, the formation of muscle. In adults, it turns its attention to repair, stitching the fabric of tissues torn by the labor of the day. Tiny tears in muscles are mended, wounds are closed more completely, and the hidden architecture of your body is reinforced. Without these nocturnal surges, your body would fray, unable to keep pace with the demands of waking life. You would rise fragile, diminished, unfinished, but with them you waken strong, prepared for the world once more. Meanwhile, cortisol remains low, as if bowing to the authority of sleep. By day it is a general commanding energy and vigilance. By night it withdraws, allowing the body to heal without interference. Its decline is essential, for high cortisol in the dark hours would keep the body restless, the mind anxious, the chemistry disordered. But toward a morning, as dawn approaches, cortisol will rise again, like the sun lifting from the horizon, preparing you to face the coming day. This rhythm, low at night, high at morning, is one of the most ancient cycles in your body. To live against it is to walk against the grain of nature itself. The hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, also play their roles. Leptin, secreted by fat cells, tells the brain that energy is sufficient, hunger is eased. Ghrelin, secreted by the stomach, urges you to eat. At night, leptin rises and ghrelin falls, silencing the appetite so you may sleep undisturbed. But when sleep is cut short, the balance tips, ghrelin surges, leptin declines, and you wake with sharp hunger, craving rich foods, seeking quick energy. This is why short nights are so often followed by heavy appetites. The dancers have lost their steps, and the body suffers the consequences. Night is meant to be a time of rest, not feeding, and the hormones know this truth. Other dancers join as well. Prolactin, a hormone often associated with lactation, also rises during sleep. Yet its influence extends beyond reproduction. It supports the immune system, guiding the development of white blood cells, enhancing the body's defenses. While you lie unaware, prolactin strengthens your resilience, making you less vulnerable to illness. This is why deep, consistent sleep so often keeps sickness at bay. Without it, defenses falter, infections find their way, and healing slows. Prolactin too is part of the moonlit chemistry, a quiet guardian that watches over you as you dream. And consider testosterone, which surges in the night, particularly during REM sleep. It supports strength, vitality and reproduction, but also mood, confidence and drive. Its nocturnal rise ensures that you awaken not only restored but energized, ready to engage with life. Women too experience nocturnal rhythms of reproductive hormones, estrogen and progesterone shifting in cycles, influencing fertility, mood and balance. All of these dances are tied to sleep, woven into the circadian rhythm. The night is not absence but presence, not stillness but movement. Within darkness, hormones step forward, each one adding its part to the performance of life. The immune system too is drawn into this harmony. Cortisol's retreat allows inflammation to settle, while melatonin plays a protective role, acting as an antioxidant shielding cells from damage. Cytokines, signaling molecules of the immune system, rise at night, directing defenses, promoting healing. Sleep is thus a time of repair not only for body and mind but for immunity itself. Without it, the system grows chaotic, inflammation lingers, illness thrives. But when the moonlit chemistry is allowed its full performance, the body defends itself with quiet strength, unseen but enduring. Science reveals that these rhythms are deeply connected to the circadian clock. This internal timekeeper ensures that hormones rise and fall in alignment with the turning of the earth. Yet when artificial light floods the night, or when schedules push us against natural rhythms, the clock falters. Melatonin is suppressed, cortisol remains high, leptin and ghrelin stumble, growth hormone weakens. The result is fatigue, weight gain, vulnerability to illness, emotional instability. We live in a world where light can extend forever, but our bodies remain ancient, bound to cycles of dark and light. To honour the night is to honour these cycles, to step in time with the dance rather than against it. Imagine, if you will, that your body is a grand theatre, and sleep is the stage upon which the hormones perform. Each one enters in its turn, melatonin lowering the lights, cortisol stepping back into the shadows, growth hormone leaping forward with strength, leptin and ghrelin swaying in balance, prolactin guarding, testosterone and estrogen weaving vitality. Together they create a choreography unseen but profoundly felt. You are both the audience and the beneficiary, receiving the gifts of their performance each time you awaken whole. The beauty of this chemistry lies not in any single hormone but in their harmony. Alone, they would falter, incomplete. Together, they create the wholeness of sleep, the depth of restoration, the continuity of health. This is why disruption is so harmful, because the dance depends on timing, on rhythm, on cooperation. It is not enough for each hormone to move, they must move together. The moonlit chemistry is not a series of solos but a symphony, and you are the living resonance of its music. So as the night deepens, know that you are not merely lying in darkness. You are hosting a performance older than humanity, older than life on land, older even than the rise of mammals. The rhythms of hormones in sleep are as ancient as the tides, as enduring as the stars. They are the inheritance of every creature that ever rested under the moon. And in their dance lies your health, your survival, your renewal. The chemistry within is moonlit, and in its graceful steps you are remade. In the final hours of night, the dance of hormones reaches its resolution. What began with melatonin's gentle rise and growth hormone surge now shifts toward awakening. The choreography does not end abruptly, but fades with grace, each hormone stepping back or forward in turn, preparing you for the return of light. This closing act is as important as the opening, for it ensures that the body does not stumble out of sleep but rises smoothly into day. The moonlit chemistry has done its work, and as dawn approaches, its steps change, guiding you from stillness to movement, from rest to renewal. Cortisol, long subdued during the night, begins to climb again in the final cycles of sleep. Its rise is not harsh but gradual, like the sun lifting slowly over the horizon. By morning, it will peak, sharpening alertness, fueling energy, and preparing you for action. Without this rise, waking would be sluggish, uncertain. With it, you open your eyes ready to meet the world. This rhythm, low at night, high in the morning, is one of the oldest in biology, shared by humans and animals alike. It ties you to the Earth's turning, to the daily rebirth of light. Cortisol is the herald of dawn, and its return marks the closing of the night's dance. Melatonin, meanwhile, begins to decline as the sky lightens. Sensitive to brightness, it retreats when dawn's rays reach your eyes. Its withdrawal is essential, for lingering melatonin would keep you heavy, half dreaming, lost in haze. Its fall is as graceful as its rise, ensuring that the body shifts gently from night into day. The pineal gland, which released it under moonlight, now rests, awaiting the return of evening. In this way, melatonin binds you to the cycle of dark and light, a signal as old as the first life that responded to the rhythms of the sun and moon. Growth hormone too completes its surges by the later hours of sleep. Having repaired tissues, fueled renewal, and strengthened the body, it steps back into quiet. Its absence in waking is not loss, but wisdom. The work of growth and repair belongs to the night, when the body is still, when resources are free to turn inward. By day, the demands of movement and thought take precedence, and growth hormone yields. This balance ensures that energy is not divided, that healing is not rushed, that strength is built in its proper time. Each hormone knows its moment, and the dance remains in harmony. Other hormones too shift in the closing hours. Leptin and ghrelin adjust, preparing hunger for the day ahead. Leptin's signal of satiety declines, ghrelin begins to rise, and appetite awakens with the morning. Insulin sensitivity shifts, readying the body to handle food once more. Prolactin's nocturnal peak softens, its immune-supporting role easing into balance. Reproductive hormones, influenced by cycles larger than a single night, continue their quiet rhythms, tied to broader patterns of fertility, strength, and vitality. All of these adjustments are timed precisely, coordinated by the circadian clock, ensuring that the body emerges from sleep not in chaos, but in order. This transition is delicate, and its success depends on the integrity of the night. When sleep is cut short, hormones stumble. Cortisol may rise too early, leaving you anxious. Melatonin may not fall completely, leaving you drowsy. Hunger hormones may misalign, leading to cravings and imbalance. The immune system may falter, repair may be incomplete, mood may be unstable. This is why the last hours of sleep are as vital as the first. The dance is not finished until the curtain falls with dawn. To cut it short is to miss the closing act, to to rob the body of its chance to complete the cycle. Yet when sleep is honoured, the ending is seamless. The hormones shift as the sky shifts, the body rising as the earth rises, the mind waking as the sun climbs. The chemistry within has woven strength, balance, and clarity, and its work is reflected in your day. You rise refreshed, hunger steady, mood calm, energy bright. The moonlit chemistry, though unseen, has left its mark in every cell, every thought, every step. You are the living proof of its performance, the embodiment of its silent dance. There is a poetry in this invisible choreography. Hormones are but molecules, small and fragile, yet together they create the cycles of sleep and wake, hunger and satiety, repair and growth, balance and vitality. They are the dancers of the night, moving in time with the earth's turning, guided by a clock older than humanity. To see them in this way is to see yourself not as separate from nature but as part of its rhythm, bound to the same cycles that govern tides, seasons and stars. You are not above the dance, you are the dance, carried by it, shaped by it, renewed by it. And so, as morning light spreads across the world, the moonlit chemistry fades into daylight chemistry, its dancers retreating until evening calls them again. The pineal gland waits for darkness, growth hormone for stillness, leptin and ghrelin for balance, cortisol for action. The performance never ends, it simply shifts stages, night to day, moonlight to sunlight, rest to activity. The cycle continues, faithful as the Earth's rotation, endless as the passage of time, and you, in your every breath, heartbeat and thought are part of it. Where does your mind go at night? It goes into the ocean of dreams, yes, but your body too is carried by rhythms you cannot see. The hormones dance in darkness, shaping you in silence, ensuring that you rise whole with the dawn. They are the quiet architects of life, the unseen poets of biology, the moonlit chemistry within. To honour your nights is to honour them, to allow their performance to complete, to awaken as the full expression of their art. The dance belongs to the night, but its gifts belong to you, carried forward into every moment of your waking day. Every living being carries within it a secret clock, one that does not tick with gears or hands but with rhythms older than memory. This clock does not hang on a wall or sit upon a table. It is buried deep inside your body, woven into the fabric of your cells, tuned to the rise and fall of the sun and the moon. It tells you when to wake and when to sleep, when to eat and when to fast, when to act and when to rest. It is the cosmic clock, the silent keeper of time within you. And though you may never see its face, you live by its rhythm every moment of your life. This clock is called the circadian rhythm, and its cycles govern the flow of your days and nights. At its heart lies the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of neurons in the hypothalamus, no larger than a grain of rice. Yet from this tiny structure, instructions radiate outward, guiding hormones, regulating body temperature, controlling energy. It is a conductor of the orchestra of life, ensuring that each system plays in harmony with the others. When the sun sets, it signals the pineal gland to release melatonin. When dawn comes, it directs the adrenal glands to raise cortisol. It adjusts digestion, alertness, immune function, and countless other processes, all in synchrony with the turning of the earth. What makes this clock so extraordinary is its universality. Every cell in your body carries its own timekeeper, molecular gears made of proteins that rise and fall in cycles of roughly 24 hours. These cellular clocks are synchronized by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, ensuring that the liver, heart, brain, and skin all move together. Without synchronization, chaos would reign. Digestion might peak while the body rests. Immune defenses might rise when they are not needed. Energy might fail when it is most required. The cosmic clock prevents this disorder. It keeps the countless parts of you aligned, moving as one with the cycle of day and night. And yet this clock is not rigid. It is sensitive to light, the most ancient signal of time. When sunlight enters your eyes, it strikes specialized cells in the retina that send messages directly to the suprachiasmatic nucleus. These signals reset the clock each day, binding your rhythms to the Earth's rotation. Even without light, the clock will continue, running on its own time, but it will drift, gaining or losing minutes with each passing day. Light is the master reset, the hand that keeps the clock aligned with the cosmic rhythm. This is why morning light is so powerful, why nights lit with artificial brightness confuse the body. The clock is ancient, but it listens to light. The clock does not only govern sleep and wake, it shapes every aspect of life. Body temperature rises and falls on its cycle, peaking in late afternoon, dipping in the cool hours of night. Hormones surge and retreat according to its schedule. Cortisol peaks in the morning, melatonin in the evening, growth hormone during deep sleep. Even the timing of meals affects it, for food provides another signal to the clock. To eat at irregular times is to confuse it, to disrupt the harmony of the body. To live in rhythm is to thrive, to live against it is to suffer. Consider the travelers of the night, the neurons and hormones we have already met. Their movements are not random but guided by this cosmic clock. Dreams come when the clock allows REM sleep to dominate. Repair occurs when the clock permits growth hormone to surge. Hunger fades when leptin rises in time, sharpens when ghrelin is released according to schedule. The clock is the hidden lawgiver, the invisible architect, ensuring that every function happens not only in the right way, but at the right time. Without it, life would be chaos. A discordant song with no rhythm, no flow. Science has shown that when the cosmic clock is disrupted, health falters. Shift workers whose schedules pull them against natural rhythms often face fatigue, weight gain, mood disorders, and even chronic illness. Jet lag, the temporary misalignment of the clock, leaves you disoriented, your body unsure of when to sleep or eat. Even small disruptions, late nights, irregular meals, too much artificial light, can leave the clock unsettled. And when the clock falters, the systems it governs stumble too. Sleep grows shallow, hormones lose balance, immunity weakens, cognition dulls. To live against the cosmic clock is to live against yourself. Yet when the clock is respected, it grants harmony. You wake easily with the sun, rest deeply with the night. Your energy peaks when needed. Your hunger aligns with meals. Your mind sharpens at the right hours. Creativity blossoms, healing strengthens, emotion steadies. The clock is not only a machine of biology, but a rhythm of poetry tying you to the turning earth, the rising moon, the path of the stars. It is cosmic in scale, yet intimate in effect, connecting the sweep of the universe to the beating of your heart. Imagine standing under a night sky, stars wheeling slowly overhead. The same cycles that govern their rise and fall govern you. The circadian rhythm is not an invention of humanity, but a reflection of the cosmos itself, written into your cells. You are a participant in this cosmic dance. Every breath, every heartbeat, every thought tied to cycles older than the human race. To see yourself this way is to understand that you're not separate from the universe but part of it, shaped by its rhythms, carried by its turning. The poetry of the cosmic clock lies in its silence. You cannot hear it tick, yet it marks every moment. You cannot see its hands, yet it moves you faithfully. It is the quiet metronome of life, keeping time for the symphony of your body. And though you may forget it, though you may ignore its signals, it is always there, patient, enduring, waiting for you to align with it once more. In honouring it, you honour the universe itself, for the same rhythm that turns the earth turns within you. So tonight, as you surrender to sleep, remember the cosmic clock at work within. Its cycles are your cycles, its time your time. It counts the hours not with numbers but with rhythms, light and dark, rest and wake, silence and sound. It is the keeper of your night, the guardian of your day, the cosmic clock that makes you whole. And though you cannot see it, you live by its measure always, bound to the great rhythm of the universe. The cosmic clock does not sleep when you do. It's always ticking, always keeping time. Its cycles shape your life in ways you rarely notice, but they are there, steady as the rising of the sun. In the heart of your brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus sends its signals outward, adjusting hormones, guiding metabolism, directing energy. Yet its reach extends far beyond this tiny cluster of neurons. Every cell in your body carries its own clock, molecular gears turning in rhythms that mirror the 24-hour rotation of the Earth. Together, these countless clocks create a vast network of timekeeping, a system so precise and so ancient that it binds you not only to yourself, but to the whole of life on this planet. Each cell's clock is built from proteins that rise and fall in predictable cycles. They accumulate, break down, and then begin again, like waves lapping at a shore. These molecular rhythms tell the cell when to divide, when to repair, when to conserve energy. They are not random but synchronized, tuned by the master clock in the brain. Without this coordination, chaos would ensue. Cells working out of time, organs out of step, the body stumbling through disorder. But with it, harmony prevails. The cosmic clock aligns not just your sleep and wake, but every process of your being, from digestion to immunity, from memory to mood. Light remains the most powerful signal for this clock. Morning light enters your eyes and resets the rhythm, ensuring that the day begins anew. It is why the first rays of dawn feel so invigorating, why a walk in the morning sun can sharpen your alertness and lift your mood. Darkness too is a signal, allowing melatonin to rise and sleep to come. Artificial light can confuse this system, pushing the clock later, delaying sleep, blurring the line between night and day. In modern life, we often flood our nights with brightness, but our ancient bodies still listen for darkness. To live in harmony with the cosmic clock is to let light and dark guide you, as they have guided life since its beginning. Food too is a signal. When you eat, your body adjusts hormones and metabolism in response, and the timing of meals can shift your internal rhythms. Late night eating confuses the clock, signaling energy when the body expects rest. Regular meal times aligned with daylight strengthen the rhythm, keeping digestion, energy and appetite steady. Even the liver, hidden and silent, follows these cycles, preparing enzymes in anticipation of meals. The cosmic clock is not only about sleep, it is about every act of living, every cycle of energy and renewal. Temperature also plays its part. Body heat rises during the day, peaking in late afternoon, then falls at night to prepare you for sleep. This decline is part of the signal, part of the rhythm that guides rest. To lower temperature artificially, as with a cool room or light blanket, can deepen sleep by enhancing this natural decline. To raise it, as with late exercise or heavy meals, can delay sleep by confusing the clock. The body listens to these subtle changes, adjusting chemistry, shifting cycles, moving always in time with the rhythm. And then there are the hidden signals, like social interaction and activity. Your conversations, your movement, your choices all provide cues to the clock. They reinforce its cycles, reminding the body of time. This is why routines can be so powerful, why consistency steadies the rhythm, why erratic schedules cause fatigue and imbalance. The cosmic clock listens not only to light and food, but to the patterns of your life. You're not just carried by it. You shape it with your habits, your choices, your daily actions. Scientists have found that when the cosmic clock is disrupted, the effects ripple through health in profound ways. Shift workers who must stay awake at night and sleep by day often suffer from insomnia, fatigue, and weakened immunity. Over years, they may face higher risks of heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. Jet lag, though temporary, offers a glimpse of this misalignment. The confusion, the drowsiness, the digestive upset, the sense of being out of step with the world. These struggles are not weakness, but biology. The cosmic clock resists being pushed, for it is built from rhythms older than human invention. To live against it is to strain the very machinery of life, yet the clock is also resilient. It adapts slowly to new rhythms, shifting its cycles when light and habits demand it. With patience, you can reset it, by rising with morning sun, by eating at regular times, by dimming lights at night, by honouring the rhythm of rest. This adaptability is what allows us to travel across time zones, to adjust to new schedules, to recover from disruptions. The clock bends, but it does not break. It is patient, waiting always to return to harmony with the Earth's rotation. The universality of the cosmic clock connects you to all living things. Plants open and close their leaves according to circadian rhythms. Flowers release fragrance at specific times, timed to the activity of pollinators. Animals hunt, feed, and rest in cycles shaped by light and dark. Even the smallest bacteria follow rhythms of metabolism, cycling in patterns tied to the day. Life itself is circadian, built upon the turning of the earth. You're not separate from this rhythm, but part of it, one participant in the great cosmic cycle that has shaped life since its beginning. There is wonder in this realization, to think that every breath, every heartbeat, every thought is timed not only by your biology, but by the earth spinning beneath the stars. You are, in a very real sense, a clock of the cosmos, your life ticking in harmony with the universe. The light of the sun, the darkness of night, the rhythm of turning, all of these are within you. They are written into your DNA, encoded in the proteins of your cells, expressed in the cycles of your life. You're not only living, you're keeping time. And so when you lie down to sleep, remember that your rest is not random. It is guided by this ancient clock, reset by light, reinforced by habits, synchronized by cycles. The cosmic clock counts the hours of night, not with numbers, but with waves of chemistry, with rises and falls of hormones, with rhythms of neurons and cells. It is a clock without hands, yet it marks the passage of time with perfect precision. To honor it is to thrive. To ignore it is to suffer. The choice is not whether the clock will keep ticking, it always will. The choice is whether you will move with it or against it. Where does your mind go at night? It follows the path set by the cosmic clock, moving into dreams when REM is allowed, into renewal when slow waves dominate, into balance when hormones follow their rhythm. Your body and mind are both guided by its measure, and in this measure lies your wholeness. The cosmic clock is the hidden pulse of your life, and though you may never see its face, you live every moment by its time. In the final passages of the night, the cosmic clock prepares to close its cycle. The body stirs, the rhythms shift, and the grand choreography of darkness turns gently toward the light of morning. This transition is not abrupt. It is measured, graceful, designed to protect you from confusion and chaos. The cosmic clock has guided you through the long hours of sleep, through waves of memory and dreams, through surges of hormones and journeys of neurons. Now it guides you toward wakefulness, ensuring that the return to day is seamless. You're not left stranded between night and morning. You are carried step by step by rhythms written into the very core of your being. As dawn approaches, the suprachiasmatic nucleus increases its signals. Cortisol begins its steady rise, preparing you for alertness. Body temperature climbs, nudging your systems awake. Melatonin fades, its work complete, its signals retreating in the presence of light. Hunger hormones adjust, sharpening appetite, urging you to nourish yourself for the coming day. Even before your eyes open, the body is already awake in its chemistry, aligned with the turning of the earth. The cosmic clock is never late, never early. It is precise, faithful, patient. It knows the hour without numbers, the time without hands, the rhythm without sound. This closing act of the night shows the wisdom of cycles. Every stage has its purpose. Early deep sleep cleanses and restores. Midnight REM dreams weave memory and creativity. Late sleep prepares the body for waking, aligning hormones, shifting rhythms, guiding you gently toward consciousness. To cut short this cycle is to rob yourself of the final act, to rise unfinished, incomplete. The cosmic clock does not rush, and when allowed to complete its work, it brings you fully into day, renewed in body, mind, and spirit. Science has shown that this clock not only guides sleep, but also influences health across a lifetime. Disruption of circadian rhythms is linked with chronic disease, heart conditions, diabetes, obesity, depression. When the clock falters, metabolism grows disordered, immunity weakens, cognition dulls. But when the clock is respected, health flourishes. Regular sleep, consistent routines, exposure to morning light and respect for darkness all strengthen its rhythm. The cosmic clock does not demand perfection, it asks for harmony. To live in step with it is to live in balance. To ignore it is to live against the grain of life itself. The beauty of this rhythm lies also in its universality. Plants stretch toward light, their leaves opening in day, folding at night. Animals feed and rest according to the cycle. Oceans themselves are moved by tides, shaped by the moon's pull. Stars rise and set, planets orbit, galaxies turn. The circadian rhythm is part of this cosmic order, a reflection of the same cycles that govern the heavens. To feel it within you is to know that you are not separate from the universe but a participant in its vast turning. The clock within you is the echo of the cosmos itself, ticking in time with the stars. This perspective offers not only knowledge but comfort. In moments of restlessness, when sleep feels elusive, remember that your body carries rhythms older than worry, older than fear. They will guide you back if only you allow them. In moments of fatigue, remember that your energy is not random but patterned, rising and falling with a rhythm that protects you. To see yourself as part of this cosmic clock is to feel less alone, less adrift. You are carried by cycles that have turned since the first spark of life, and they will continue long after you are gone. You're not only a single being, but part of a timeless pattern written in darkness and light, and yet, though the clock is universal, it is also personal. No two rhythms are exactly the same. Some are early, tuned to morning light. Others are late, drawn to the quiet of night. These differences are written in genes, shaped by environment, refined by choice. They are part of your individuality, your unique place in the cosmic dance. To know your rhythm is to know yourself. To honor it is to live in harmony not only with the universe, but with your own nature. The cosmic clock does not erase individuality, it refines it, shaping each person's cycle while keeping them tied to the greater whole. As morning breaks, the clock resets. Light enters your eyes. Melatonin is silenced. Cortisol peaks. The body prepares. The cycle begins again, ready to carry you through another day. It is endless, faithful, unceasing. You do not need to command it, it will turn regardless. But your choices matter. When you honor the rhythm with steady sleep, with respect for darkness, with welcome for morning light, the cycle strengthens and you flourish. When you deny it with late nights and disrupted schedules, the cycle stumbles and you suffer. The cosmic clock is constant, but its harmony depends on your willingness to move with it. So where does your mind go at night? It follows the rhythm of the cosmic clock, wandering into dreams when REM calls, resting deeply when slow waves rule, rising gently when dawn nears. It is guided not by chance, but by cycles written into every cell. Cycles that echo the turning of the earth and the dance of the stars. You are not separate from the universe, but bound to it. Your life measured by its time, you're being shaped by its rhythm. The cosmic clock is within you, and through it, you are part of the cosmos itself. As you wake, remember the journey of the night. Remember that your mind traveled through dreams, your body healed through chemistry, your soul was carried by rhythm. Remember that the cosmic clock counted every hour, not with numbers, but with harmony. And know that tonight it will begin again, faithful as always, guiding you once more into the silent music of sleep. You are not only living within time, you are time, a fragment of the universe keeping rhythm, a traveller in the great cosmic clock.